Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews. Well, we watched the, I suppose, the newest edition of the John Wick world, Ballerina. Went into this movie, was not paying attention, did not realize it was in the John Wick franchise. So that was really enjoyable.
You didn't notice
Um,
that?
I didn't notice that. I usually don't watch or pay attention. I'm just told, hey, watch this movie. And that's what I do 95% of the time. So I
Okay.
go
He
into
saw it
most
had
of
Anna de Armas and he said, "How much are the tickets?"
kind of, yeah. So I went in here and I really enjoyed this movie. I was skeptical in the beginning of it, when I realized it's in the same universe, just with different characters and everything, skeptical that this could be a flop and they're just trying to get money out of it, like the world. But this movie did actually pretty well, in my opinion. It didn't overextend and it didn't kind of downgrade John Wick's character. It just made him, in my opinion, look a little bit more terrifying. While he's more of a side character in this than a main character, it just every time that name pops up, it's still like fear in everybody's face. So I enjoyed that they didn't kind of push John Wick to the side in this movie. The only complaint I have, and it's not really a complaint, but the reason why she decided to become a hitman and assassin is, in my opinion, kind of the same reason John Wick even started his whole hunt and joining back into the assassins again, because someone killed her father in front of her, and that was pretty much the same thing as John Wick's whole thing. Someone killed my dog. So in a little bit of a different way, but it would, in my opinion, that's the only like kind of similarity. It both just revenge stories. So I was hoping to kind of see something else, besides just another revenge story. But other than that, it was still pretty good. The choreography was great, and the plot was pretty good as well. So I would have to give this probably a 7 out of 10, in my opinion. It was a good movie for the John Wick franchise. It reminded me a lot of the first one.
Would you say it's as good as the first one?
No, dear God, no. No,
It just
better than the
reminds you of
second
it?
one, I would say. Better than the second one, but nowhere's near like the first one came out and it came out swinging. This one was a bit of a slower start, but it was still good. In my opinion, it was kind of like the pacing of the second one, which is a bit of a slower pacing, while the first one is just like go, go, go the whole way through.
It's pretty much the same. If John Wick 1 through 4 exists in a realm of a 6 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10, this one sits at a decent 7 out of 10. Um, it doesn't rely too heavily on John Wick. I like that it had a little snippet of him in the beginning and then a small portion in the end where it really showed, yeah, he's that guy. Um, And I think my favorite part, the story was fun. It continues with the grittiness and the dark atmosphere of the John Wick franchise and making it this ominous, dark, underground adventure series, action series, without it being too silly or too serious.
Mhm.
It's just an enjoyable universe. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about it was how they treated um, the main character. I'm not remembering her name. Um, how they treated her combat ability and her existence in this assassin's world because uh, they didn't give her the Black Widow treatment or the Yelena treatment, where he shows up, even in the world of superheroes, regardless of whether or not superheroes. He shows up and then they throw 10 to 20 guys at her and she just wipes the floor with them, barely breaking a sweat, which doesn't, even with like assassin training, spy training, it's just not realistic. This movie, I quite appreciated how they made a point of being like, you're a woman. You are going to struggle in fights, especially with men, especially with larger men. They're just stronger than you. You have to figure out how to win regardless. And they showed that both in her training and in how they choreographed the scenes. In the beginning, when she was fighting her first group of people, she was more trained than the guys they threw at her, but they were just stronger than her. And so she had to keep getting herself back up and fighting them and trying to figure out a way to beat them because it was a group of six or so guys against this one woman. And she still won because she was trained to be creative in how she fights. Um, and that persisted throughout the rest of the movie, where she had to be innovative in her fights to win against physically stronger opponents, even if she was not necessarily winning or being absolutely just goated in the beginning of
Mm.
the fight. And then on top of that, I liked how they didn't make her be like, yeah, she's just like John Wick, because they showed how John Wick just pretty easily wiped the floor with her.
It was holding back a
He,
lot too. Yeah.
yeah, he was holding back. He didn't get hurt. Like he was just holding back the whole time, being like, "Don't make me kill you. I could do it so easy. Despite how many people you've killed, I could do it easier." I appreciated that, and it added more to her character and John Wick's character without taking away from either of them.
Hmm.
And I appreciated how they both wrote and choreographed it. And it was just an enjoyable, like solid 7 out of 10 addition to the John Wick universe. And I really like the story of her hunting down this band, and then spoilers, getting and trying to look for them, and that kind of moment of realization where you're like, oh crap, it's the whole town.
Yeah. That part was
Oh
good.
no. That was a cool like
Yeah,
audience realization for me.
Yeah.
that was a fun part of that like that storyline of it's just everybody. Um, that was fun. That was an
What's
interesting wrench in the story.
what's interesting about that is they say that, but as the audience you're like, oh, it's just a few of it's like kind of like a policing scenario where they're kind of like the head security of the town. You don't really think it's the whole town when they say like, oh yeah, this town is their hideout. It's like, no, no, they are the town people are the hideout people
Yeah.
are the same. Like there is no innocent people there except the
I
kids,
will
and that's
say, yeah, I will say the one thing I wish they delved a little into is that they mentioned something. That I wish they kind of explored just slightly more, whether it's the draw to the main character or just the pitch from the villain, was this city is a sanctuary for people like you. This city is the one place you get to live and have a family. And they really just kind of like said it in like a sentence or two and then didn't put more attention to it other than that verbally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what they tried to do with the sister, because otherwise that's just a random aside with the sister just showing up. But I mean, I guess they were trying to hint towards that, like she had a family that all like there was a family that was hers that lived here, and there is still some of her family that lives here. But they just tossed that as they brought that in and then tossed that aside. So at that point, why even bring it up? Because
Yeah.
that was part of the thing where it was like an overcomplication of the storyline, and that part kind of messed that up for me.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying.
That was the only thing I would think. I'd be like, oh, you should have paid a little bit more attention to that, added a little bit more draw, being like, you can actually escape,
Yeah,
especially with the small
Well,
narrative
in
with
like,
John
you
Wick.
yeah, you can escape, but you still have to do your job.
yeah. Well,
But the whole side narrative of being like, how do I get out? And John Wick is like, and John Wick is kind of alluding to how she does, like the door is unlocked. You can leave anytime you want. It's not too
Yeah.
late. And then having this parallel of this is the escape
well,
was interesting, and I wish they paid a little bit more
Or this
attention to that.
could be the escape. Yeah.
that
It's not
was
it's not
mm,
the escape. It could be the escape.
well when John Wick came in. Did she already kill that one guy lady in the test already? Had that happened
No,
or
no.
okay? So
No. Yeah.
earlier when John Wick says that, he probably knows that she hasn't killed anybody yet, so she can just leave if she wants to.
Yeah,
Whereas in this
because
now like
she's
two
in the
months
school, not
later,
on missions.
yeah, yeah. With whereas in this 2 months later when she's in this, now that is her only escape left. Is kind of what they're hinting towards. Like, if you want to get out of this life, this is and like have a family, have any sort of semblance of like a you, this is the only way you could do it now. Otherwise, you're just on the run for the rest of your life, or you just have to have such a big reputation like John Wick that you're just kind of given that. I think that's what they were going for, but yeah, that wasn't greatly explained.
Yeah, in some way, yeah.
What do you guys think of that cliffhanger kind of thing where like now she's like on the run?
Yeah, I think it was a very good way to end it, where they were like, we're gonna see how this does. If it does well, we'll make another one, and we can. But if it doesn't do
Yeah.
well, we can leave it with this. It was a
In
safe ending
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
without
definitely a
closing it
safe
off.
ending. It's definitely a safe ending. If they do something, then in my opinion, it could just end up the same way as, you know, John Wick, what is it, the third one that he's on the run? It's both the
Yeah.
third and the fourth.
It's
Um,
I mean, if they do a second one, I thought I'd find it a good ending if it was like she ends up getting captured and ends up being the in the reverse situation of her test, and that's how she ends. Like she was the girl that she
that
shot
that
was
could
correct.
work.
That would probably be a good ending for her
That
character.
could work, but from what I remember, I think everyone in the Romanov family has a ticket they can turn in at any time.
Hmm.
I
So
don't remember.
there's that. I mean, that's what John Wick did, and he got the then he was exiled. I mean,
Okay.
that's why he was in there in this movie.
Getting
He
bright.
was
Yeah,
getting his
getting
yeah, he was getting the ticket torn. Um
for what, for like what? It's what is it? Like one favor?
it's one favor. Yeah, you can ask any favor, but only once. And when you ask that favor, you're kicked out of the family.
Which is
Yeah.
really interesting because he did that and then
Yeah, that's the only thing
mother
I didn't really
called
care
and was
for
like, I've got a job for
because
you, which is weird.
exactly. That's the only thing I don't know when this takes in between, I think the third and the fourth, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense why in the beginning of the movie he's getting his ticket torn, but at the end of it, he's still on her call list. Like,
I
hey,
mean,
John, I have a problem. I need you to handle it. I don't know if it's
I guess
because,
she could have done it like a contract way, where she put a contract on and individually called him.
well, it
But
could be that, or it could
still,
be the fact of, hey, I like that. That's the only part that doesn't really make sense to me. That I kind of hope they would have explained more. Because he was already out. He was already kicked out of the family. He had no ties with that family anymore. And I'm pretty sure even in the movie they said we'll never converse with you again. So that is something that I didn't quite understand, but I mean, it was pretty much it's a John Wick storyline, so guess had to bring him in at least once. But that's the only part that's kind of incohesive with the John Wick movies. The next thing they could do, because I know I think she only saved one guy, the hitman that was part of her first contract. She let him live. So if they make a second movie, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up to either kill her or to save her.
You talking about the guy with the kid?
No, when her first assignment was like rescuing this girl from the club,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
that, yeah, where she didn't end him. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay.
That's the
Like she
only
did
one that she let live,
as far as
if
I
I
can tell,
remember.
like she also didn't kill any of his crew that I remember.
Well, I don't remember. But she might have. I think
She
she
might
might
have
have
badly
like
she might have
she
killed maybe
maimed them, if
one or
anything.
two, but I don't think she
But yeah,
killed
I don't remember if
all
she
of them.
killed any of them.
I
So I
don't
could
remember
see
either
them
way.
coming back and like potentially either helping her, um, like pretending they're out for the hit and then helping her instead. But I'm not sure. That would be
I can see
interesting.
them absolutely making another movie based on how well the this one does. But if they
Yeah.
don't, it
I
wouldn't
just
be
hope
surprising
it's
either.
I just hope it's not another slow movie that's mostly just like build up for another one because I
Yeah.
don't know how far you can take like this character. John Wick was different because I mean he had already had a fleshed out backstory, but now hers is pretty much done.
Yeah, I would only say maybe two movies max. This one,
What
Yeah,
maybe another one if this movie does well. But
what
yeah,
this movie did very well, which is what spin-off movies should be doing, is just adding lore and world building.
yes,
It just gave more insight into how the world and the underground and the organizations work.
yeah.
And that's
It
what
was
these
also
movies
yeah.
ultimately should be doing, other than adding extra stories.
Yeah. Because the only insight we got, like world building wise, was this is kind of the training John Wick went through to become who he was.
Hmm.
Um, which I found interesting because that's one thing like wanted to see was how did this man become this huge, terrifying name? So we get a little bit of a glimpse into that of how he was trained.
Yeah.
So that was enjoyable.
But it still leaves the mystery that the John Wick series is known for because we saw it from the
Yep.
female perspective, which is very different from the male training, I'm sure, because they're trained as ballerinas, and I'm sure he wasn't. Plus the male female combat that was treated and instructed very differently. It
Yes.
almost seemed like the male trainees or combatants were being used to train the women, so we didn't get to see theirs.
I mean, that is true, but we get to see roughly like the general, like how they're treated and how their like final test and stuff is. Um,
What was
and
crazy
they're
though was that
definitely
the final
treated.
test was that you have to kill someone who used to be one of us.
Yeah, that's an interesting test because it's one of those things. Obviously, if the person who's like part, the one that is the test, if they manage to kill the testee, then do they
They
just
get
get
back
let
in?
out?
I don't know.
Or do they get back in, or are they still just executed at the end of it? Like, what happens
Mhm.
to them at that point? That's something that
A,
I don't quite understand.
a small foreshadowing detail that I really liked was how our main character was faster putting the gun together, but she hesitated. And you saw the other the person who was the test literally like laugh and be like and in a way of you're not ready to kill yet, being like
Yeah,
you're not going to pull the trigger,
yeah,
which was the real test ultimately.
yeah,
But that was a very interesting kind of foreshadowing of oh, you're going to become ready to kill.
yep. Like I said, there was a lot of knowledge we got in like the world building for like the Romanov family in a way,
Hmm.
which was enjoyable. Um,
What
but
left
yeah,
me very curious was how that village will what will happen to that village.
well,
Like,
well,
yes, the leader
no,
is
I
dead,
was
but
gonna say
they've
they'll
been
just get a new
around for
leader, but
yeah.
the leader died. Pretty much the second in command was killed.
Yeah, his son was killed on his orders, and his granddaughter is now
no, his son's alive.
MIA. Oh, you're right. His son's alive. Sorry, your son's his son's alive. But like, who? Obviously, the cycle's going to perpetuate. There's too many people in the city not to just elect a new leader. But I kind of want to see what happens.
Like in that aspect, that I would like to see that, but it's one of those things of I just don't know how far they can take this character's storyline as a single
Yeah,
like storyline for a
without
character
making them just a duplicate of John.
without making them a duplicate of John and without messing up the John Wick storyline
Yeah,
in the universe. That's the
yeah,
only thing I'm concerned about.
yeah,
Andrew, did you finish your review? Because we
yeah,
then because we then went into a long discussion.
that's I forgot. I
yeah.
was
No,
about
I'm
to ask,
sorry. Yes,
did
No,
you
all
say
good.
sorry.
anything
I
to
Yes, I
kind of
did.
started it. I kind of started that, so that's my bad. But
All yours.
yeah, no, uh, I'd give it a probably about a 6, maybe 6.5. I didn't feel that great about it, but it didn't wow me, but it also didn't like wasn't terrible either.
Yeah,
Um, one of the things I didn't quite like was that she seemed to get beat a lot and then just like you got to see her get beaten, but she got beat up a lot more than what she should have been able to take. And she just got right back up. That was one of the problems I had. I was like, okay, how much like there's gotta be some threshold. Like John Wick, I mean, I kind of get because he's all built muscular and like he's made to be like he can kind of take some of that. Like, granted, it kind of goes overboard still with on the John Wick
yeah.
movies,
But
but
at the same time, you can still see he's taken a beating.
yeah,
You
yeah,
got to see that a few times in this, like her first mission, she took a beating, and then
yeah,
after that, it's like she gradually looks like she does takes less and less damage,
yeah, and I get
or
that. Like,
she doesn't care about the damage anymore.
she's getting smarter about how she goes about fighting, and I mean,
Yep.
I get that. But what
Is the one scene that you're thinking of? Because the one scene that made me think of that was where she was fighting in kind of like the coffee shop or restaurant
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
town, where she's getting just like slammed on tables and all of this combatant after combatant, and she's still just
Well,
getting up every time.
it
And I'm
was
like,
it was
okay,
yeah,
like
when do you
the
lie
next
down?
the next one was when she's just walking through like the weapon shop, just tossing grenades everywhere. And I'm like, your brain would be so concussed, you would not be functioning.
well,
Like
Yeah,
she
also,
like
walked
how are
out of
you
there.
surviving these blasts, but these guys aren't?
well,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
be able to take it more so if it was like if she had like an MMA fighter build, but she was more like I
She's
want to
still
say she
Ana
was
de Armas at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like athletic, but not this bulky woman.
yeah, like she's more like slim cut than like beefed up, like kind of like Gina Carano MMA
Mhm.
kind of
I
build.
mean, this movie has the opposite sin that other action movies have, where other action movies have their characters not taking any damage. This
That
movie
is
has
true.
them. They take a little too
This
much
one's a lot
damage,
more,
Yeah,
yeah.
regardless.
and I
Yeah.
mean,
Even John Wick, like there's times where you're like, how are you getting up?
yeah, like I mean,
Yeah.
like John Wick puts the coat, and I get the coat's like Kevlar, so it's supposed to take the bullets, but like it's got nothing holding it down to.
Yeah, that
So
pissed that pissed me off. She shot at him like 6 times, and he's just like, I
and
blocked
like the
it.
coat like
I'm
doesn't
like,
Yeah,
show
but
like
let's
any
let's be honest.
deformation,
Let's
like
let's
showing that
be
it
let's be
caught the
honest.
bullets in the Kevlar. And I
I
mean, like I
imagine I
get it.
imagine they took that same premise from Batman's cape and they're like, "Yep, this works."
Yeah, and I'm not.
I was like, this world is so realistic in how it works. And then you just had a Kevlar jacket. And if anyone who has ever used like a bulletproof vest can tell you, just look up interviews. They take the shot, but they're like, yeah, that still hurt like hell. Like
Yeah,
It
I'm
hurts.
bruised
Yeah.
because of that. I just
well,
didn't get
It
shot
well,
through.
hurts.
for John Wick, like he holds it so it's not anywhere near him, so he's not getting hit by it. But like it's also not
It
being
doesn't matter.
it's
It
not being
doesn't it
taught.
doesn't matter.
It's not being taught, so it could easily just like push it all the way out, where and then other bullets just come right by it, not even getting caught. So
Yeah. That's the one like fantasy aspect of the series. And I'm like, why?
yeah, and I mean,
Just keep with the stormtrooper logic if they just don't hit him.
or get better with like plating and stuff. I don't know, like you could show other stuff,
Or just,
He
do
just
the
let him
do the
wear a
magic trick.
bulletproof. Yeah,
like a
just let him wear a
bulletproof
bulletproof
vest
vest under.
No,
underneath
no,
would
just
be.
just no guns. Just continuously do that Joker magic trick where he just fights people with pencils.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
just have him flash back to Neo where
Yeah.
yeah,
Dude,
I don't.
that would have been so funny if in like one scene he did that and it was just a single slow motion. That would have been hilarious.
It would have taken that out of the movie, but I mean, it would have been.
it'd have been a fun reference. A
That
Yeah,
fun
that would have been a
reference.
fun reference.
yeah. I don't know.
That
Some
would
of
have
the
been
stuff
funny.
where like it goes it tries hard to be realistic, and then those times where it's like, it's not
You're like,
realistic.
it's still a movie.
Eh, it's that
Not
movie
quite.
magic, But yeah, overall, I thought it was good part of the John Wick universe. Don't really have any complaints other than what we've kind of mentioned already. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
6 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next week when we'll be watching the new James Gunn Superman, and we'll see you next time.